Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, and yes, the rumors are true. It's back to Grumpy. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well in the chat, and welcome to a therapy session, because it's been a fair while since we've had to have one of those. So if you got something to vent, get it out in the chat. All comments are welcome, as long as you don't, cross those so-called lines. Say what you need to say.
Cross them.
Well, all right, call Ant an idiot then. That's fine. Cross that line.
That's okay. That's okay. I
can't
knock
anybody. Well, I want to get a gauge on the mood in the chat. Are you angry or calmer? I wouldn't say calm. I don't know if anyone's calm. So just put an A or a C in the chat. And if you're watching this later,
or an H if you're happy as fuck.
All right. Thanks for demonetizing us off the bat.
Sorry, mate.
Oh, yeah, you've got to go the first 2 minutes, haven't you?
Honestly, how long is it? It's 2 minutes, man. 2 minutes.
Start
anyway.
Again.
Yeah. Cut. Okay, there's a lot of...
Did people misheard me? I said happy as fuck. Did people mishear me?
All right, yeah, because YouTube's going to differentiate on that one as well, so he's doubled down on it. Good start, good start.
Can't say fuck.
Stop saying it! Anyway.
Stop saying what?
Anyway. Let's kick this one off. As always, hit the likes, subscribe. You know the rule. You know the rule. There's a mixed reaction here. I think this might need a poll. There's some A's, some C's. Who's C? Karma. Oh, Karma was C, wasn't it? And some H's. Adam, shout out to Adam. He's saying angry because the manner of the defeat and the fact that it was AFC Tin Pot. We lost it. Adam, you can't say that. Apparently, you're not allowed to dislike any other club, mate. And you should... Let's congratulate Bournemouth on winning their first trophy. No, they still haven't won one of those. So I don't know what I meant to congratulate.
They were good, mate. They've been good. They've been.
We made them look good, though. We
did make them look good.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. And kick off crypto, man, because them super chats you were sending in the post match, man. You calmed down since then, Ben.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I had to go to the club shop today and buy a new shirt because I set all my Forest shirts on fire last night and had a bonfire. But I've calmed down a little since then. I mean, I'll give you a general overview, and everybody effectively, apart from Alanga, for me, was crap. They were all crap. I gave them all a 0 in the player rating. I mean, I did give Alanga a 0 too, so my bad on that, but he probably deserved it. One thing I do want to say, because I always see people getting upset in the comments, is that this is a review of the game. It's not a review of the season. We know we've done well this season, blah, 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 blah. This is a review of yesterday's game. Now, I don't mind us losing if our players are trying as hard as possible. You know, if we get beaten by a better team, fair enough. But yesterday, we got absolutely annihilated. And it was a really strange game for me because, as some of you may know, we had 50-50% possession yesterday. So for me yesterday, despite the last 10 or so games playing counter-attacking football and getting good results out of everything, for some reason, we did a Fulham and changed our tactics up yesterday. And for me, that's on Nuno, because yesterday, to me, looked like we were trying to play a possession game. Now, maybe that's because Callum Hudson-Odoi was injured, but if you've got one player injured to change the tactics up like that, then you need to get a new winger in effectively and someone to challenge Alanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Because I'm telling you what, Jota is not that person. And why Nuno has this kind of obsession with starting Jota ahead of Sosa and this obsession with starting Yates ahead of Dominguez, I will never know. If there's one criticism of Nuno, it would be that. I don't always like his team selection. I don't like his sub selection either. So look, we need backup wingers desperately. We need to get in the market and buy a backup winger ASAP. And I don't know what Sells was trying to do yesterday, because Sells has had a brilliant season. He looked like Andre Onana yesterday. He was flipping and flapping the ball out. I mean, something yesterday looked very wrong to me. And for those who were watching on, shall I say, I don't know, legalized television, the commentators were saying that some of the players were arguing with each other. They were throwing up hand gestures at each other. That is not good. That is nothing like we've heard. We've heard that this is the most close-knit team in the Premier League. So I just hope that that doesn't come back to haunt us. And one thing I'll finish on is that for me, we now have two options. You either bounce back like Newcastle have, and then let's hope we forget about this in a few games' time, or you turn into what Man City did in December and absolutely, basically, you know, go onto a losing streak. So we need to either bounce back, we need to bounce back properly, and against Brighton, we should be able to do that. Otherwise, we could be having a stinker for the next month, because February is going to be one of the toughest months we've had.
Rob,
yeah, but we have generally played better against the better team, apart from Arsenal and Man City, of course. Well, I don't know. I'm grasping.
I don't know. I think we played worse against the better teams.
No, I know. As I was saying it, I thought, and you're kidding yourself. No, I'm thinking of Liverpool. That's why. I'm obviously thinking of Liverpool. That's the one. From the lovely Will sent us some statistics. Now, I'm not a big one for statistics, but this one made me smile. We had 48%, so yeah, nearly 50% of possession, which is not our norm. We had, I think, as many shots as they did, about 18 shots to 16 or something like that. Mm. But and this kind of, you know, is what Crypto was saying, whether we're trying. I don't personally think we were trying to play possession football. I just think we're shit. But the one statistic that I saw that really made me feel ill was pass accuracy, 74%. That is dreadful. That is dreadful. 74% pass accuracy. You're normally up in the 80s, you know. So that shows you how bad we were. We just couldn't string two passes together. It was shocking.
But is
obviously we'll go into it in more detail, but I have got thoughts on why what happened.
But just on that one, is that stat diluted? Because half those passes are probably long balls. Was that specific to short balls?
It just said pass accuracy. It just said pass accuracy. So I don't know. But my feeling is that what I kept seeing was Howson, the way that their manager was playing it. He was a good manager. I think he totally out-tacticked Nuno yesterday, by the way. Totally out-tacticked him. And one of the tactics that stuck out to me was that poor Chris Wood was on his own up there. So they were, and most teams, they have a couple of centre-backs at the back. And obviously, if you've got one striker coming to close it down, he passes it square to the other one. And then he runs to that one, he passes it back. We've seen that many, many times. But what they were doing is they were shifting Howson up the pitch so that when Chris Wood went to close down the defender, he had a forward pass to a player in midfield that was Howson, centre-back. And we never worked it out. We should have either not pressed at all, right? So they couldn't come forward, i.e., you know, on the halfway line. Or we should have had at least two strikers going to close them down. But they didn't. They left Chris Wood on his own. And you can criticise Chris Wood as much as you like. He had a thankless, hopeless task yesterday. It happened every time. Go down to close the ball. There was Howson striking forward.
Howson was their CDM for half that match.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he's only 19, isn't he? He's only 19.
He's 19. Yeah.
Go on, Rob. What are you saying then? Misery guts or positively optimistically, negatively optimistic, whatever the saying is?
I prefer to put it like this. It's a wake-up call. It's a slap in the face, a reality check, a cautionary tale, a red flag, a comeuppance, a pratfall, an epic fail. We crashed and burned, and now we're back down to earth, but hopefully it's not a sign of things to come. There, I've got all the cliches out of the way.
I thought we weren't using ChatGPT anymore.
I did that research myself on the internet. Look, I mean, it was the worst possible opponent at the worst possible time. And we really had an off day, and Bournemouth are absolutely on fire at the moment. I think that we saw what they did at Newcastle. Remember, Newcastle had won 8 games in a row. We saw what they'd done at Newcastle, and we're like, nah, I'll be all right. Our defence will stop that. Did they? Bournemouth pressed us. They bullied us. Tyler Adams dominated us. And Justin Kluivert destroyed us. So I think the problem was it wasn't just the defence. We had pretty much zero quality in attack as well. I mean, on the highlights, it looked like we had about 4 shots. I was thinking, I don't really remember those. I just remember getting battered. So I would like to put a shout out to Elanga. I
Mm.
felt that Anthony Elanga. So on the highlights, he didn't look bad. He did a lot of stuff that didn't work, right? But at least he was trying. He seemed to be single-handedly trying to attack. And it's just more evidence that he's basically got his own confidence meter that is separate to the rest of the team. He's got his own individual personal confidence meter. So it's like he was still having a go. It's like, what's wrong with you? But no one was getting up with him. His passes weren't connecting. But I mean, all the things that we hold dear, all the things that we rely on were utterly smashed yesterday. Sells was terrible. His left arm is too short. I don't care what anybody says.
Don't start blaming Sells for what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Nico Williams got done. Murillo got out jumped. Milenkovic got turned inside out. Aina was all over the place. He was on the wrong side. So that's just the defence. The midfield wasn't tracking back. And I think Sangare needs to be given an ultimatum, which is like, look, you either turn up for work in the next couple of weeks or you're out and we get somebody else.
That's a bit hard for him. He's been injured for 6 months.
Yeah, I don't
He is
care.
back.
He's
He is
stealing
back.
a salary. That man is stealing a salary, right?
Man,
And
he's
yesterday-
injured.
He's
Yeah,
injured.
come on, man.
I don't care. I don't want to pay his wages
He's not
anymore.
doing a Harry
You're
Arter.
good.
The guy's
Thankfully,
injured.
You're not paying his wages.
Listen. I prefer to put it like this.
I can guarantee
I
he's
prefer to put it like
bursting
this,
to get
right?
back. Bursting to get back.
I said to my dad last night, if Taiwo was a horse, you'd put him out to grass. If Sangare was a horse, he'd be shot, right?
Well, we're not horses. We're not
Yeah, all right.
horses.
Anyway,
So
I've had enough. That was all I had to say. Hope you
Jurgen
enjoyed
Timber
it.
was out for the entire season. Look at him now. Honestly,
I don't understand
Tyler
why.
Adams was out for Bournemouth and he bust that midfield. He was out all
He
last
was, he
season.
was.
And he
Ah,
bust that midfield.
How is Sangare getting dragged into this loss? It wasn't.
I
He
know.
always
I
does,
know.
man.
all
He
his
was-
fault.
shows we are
It's
missing
all
him.
his fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we are missing you, obviously. But can I jump in?
Wait, just before I come to sorry, let me just catch the super chats. This is my man Andy with the 199. Says, evening all, hope you're well. Rob, sort them out. He's putting his faith in Rob. He's putting his faith in
Yeah,
Rob.
he's blaming Sangare, mate. So, okay.
yeah.
You may want a refund now, mate. Thank you so much for the 199. Graham says, my autistic son just said he does not want to watch Forest anymore. Dad, everything I brought from the club and they don't want to play. What do I tell him? Graham, tell him.
They've been very naughty boys, but next week he'll enjoy himself because they'll play a lot better.
Graham, tell him about Yeovil. Tell him about Sheffield United. Tell him about Blackpool. Tell him about Swansea. And then tell him, like,
No,
Oh, you
don't.
bloody
he's
hell,
having a
before
good
I'd
time.
be depressed.
You
No,
Stop.
he will be, yeah. No, all right, don't tell him
Already.
those ones. God. We've gone through a lot of pain points. We really have.
I'm
We
over it,
really
Yeah,
have.
we've been through a lot
I'm
of joy
over it.
as well. You know, 2 European Cups, League Championship, 4
Yeah,
league
all right.
Cups,
You've
two
gone
games
through
against
that.
Barcelona. We've been through a lot of good stuff as well, lads. Come on.
You've gone through that.
Not most of us. Not
Yeah.
most of us.
Let's just a quick reminder, we got 300 in here already. Please do hit that like button. We're on 58. You guys can do better. I know we're all depressed. I know it's in a way it's nice to be depressed over one loss. Like, can you imagine last season? It's like, oh, we've had, undefeated in 8 or 9 and then one loss. Would have taken that, but we are where we are. Go on, Ez, what are you saying?
I mean, I don't know if you guys have spoke about it yet, but I felt he got the formation wrong to start with. I would have gone with your suggestion, mate. I would have gone with the 3-4-3, and I don't know why Nuno didn't see that, because that is the type of team they are. They're intricate. Their passing and one-touch play in and around our box was brilliant yesterday. We've got players obviously who are every single one of their front line seems to be comfortable on the ball. They can all take it on. They can all drift into the box. They can all take it down the side or cut in. And I felt Nuno got that wrong to start with, and then didn't make the change soon enough. What I called for at halftime, what you called for at halftime during the watch along, that's the changes I would have made, and the change that I did make had no effect. I think were we only 1-0 down at halftime?
Yeah.
I
Was
can't
it two-
remember, Was it only
No, it
1-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1-0.
1-0.
Are you serious?
We were
Yeah.
only 3-0 down on 90 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're
I mean,
it's just all a blur to me now.
it could have been
painful.
Can I just remind people as well that I think it was the season after the 94 season. So it'd be 95, 96, I think it was. Anyway, we'd been on a massive long run. I mean, like 20 odd games, something like that, unbeaten. And we went to Blackburn Rovers and lost 7-1. I was at that game, so I remember it well. So it can happen, even to the best team.
We did go on to get relegated.
No. That was 7-0.
7-0.
That was on my
7-0, bro.
birthday.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking Sheffield Wednesday 7-1 away.
Please
When we won.
never bring that game up ever, okay? Luckily, yesterday's doesn't eclipse that one because I was having my I'd have been like 2 years old birthday party on that one, and I cried in front of my mates. So anyway, let's not, please. 18th
He was actually
November,
31 and cried in front of his mates. We see it every time we lose.
I nearly did cry yesterday. I nearly did cry. Sorry, it's gotten you right on the formation.
Yeah, no,
I'll
say,
right.
there's a couple of things obviously that I'll actually ask the chat for help on this one. How many times have we haven't gone behind in games many times this season, but I can't remember if we've come back and won a game from that. But
Aston Villa.
Is that the only one we came back and won? Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that's
because we always
also technically we drew with Brighton.
This is it. So our game plan is to get that first goal, and when you don't get that first goal, yesterday there's been times like Villa game probably as an example is the last time I can think of when we did go behind and I didn't worry about us getting back into a game. Yesterday I didn't see us getting back into the game unless he made the right changes at halftime, which I felt Nuno didn't do. So there's a lot of things were wrong yesterday. I think somebody's touched on it. I think their managers outfought Nuno. The players have outfought ours, and the lack of discipline for two of our subs who knew they were coming on to get booked on the sideline. That's atrocious. That is not Nottingham Forest, and I don't want to be associated with that kind of fuggery and stuff like that because that's the kind of thing that Cunha did. That we were. And we've got our players doing that,
What did they do?
Well, they've obviously kicked off at something after their goal. That's got them both booked. So whatever happened,
they came on the pitch and had an argument with one of their players.
Yeah, we definitely came onto the pitch.
Was it after the disallowed goal? Was it perhaps that?
Yeah, it was.
It
was the third goal.
It's irrelevant.
Right, so they were basically arguing that a goal shouldn't be allowed, and then it wasn't allowed. So actually, they were right.
Why are they getting on the pitch and getting involved?
Yeah, I'm not defending. I'm just trying to understand it.
I'm not gonna lie, as that was a highlight of the match for me.
We might have been, but it just showed how
the most passionate part of the match.
Simple as fact, they got us rattled yesterday in every sense, on and off the pitch, and the game plan from them was spot on. We didn't react to it. Nuno did not react to it at all, and what he tried to do at halftime just made matters worse. Clearly. We've said this for a while now. We haven't got the players to change a game. If we'd been 1-0 at halftime against Liverpool, I can't see what we could have done to change that game, what we had on the bench to come on. And that's still the case. The players that we have got, Sosa, Jota.
It's been working, Ed. It's been working, hasn't it?
No, but they'd be fine. Listen, they'd be fine if you're going for a mid-table push. But if we want to maintain the position we're in right now, and stay in the European positions full stop, then we need to get the right resources in right now because those players will not take us to that level. We won't take us there, unfortunately.
I agree. Totally.
So what are you lot saying now? We're having revisionism because like a week ago...
People are.
Yeah, I know, but a week ago, most people are telling me that this squad is perfect and Ronaldo and Messi couldn't get into it.
In fact, you misquoted us on the player ratings. You said we didn't want any new signings or something like that.
I didn't say that.
You did.
I said you had entitlement.
Oh, come on.
You did.
There were people saying you don't want Cunha because he might disturb the balance.
Right. Was that we didn't see where new signings would get straight into the team.
No, what they were saying is, and by the way, we're not getting Cunha. People put that out of your minds, right? We're not getting Cunha, right? But people
we're not even after him, man. We're not even after him.
Cunha. No. But people were saying they didn't want to bring in Cunha because you might disturb the balance of the squad, the harmony.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were definitely saying that. And I was thinking, no, you're bringing great players. Not like Lingard, but you're bringing great players who you know are good players, and then it's up to the manager to make sure that they fit in.
100%.
You do worry me. You said you bring in great players, and the first thought you had was Jesse Lingard. I know it was
Yeah, but then I said, yeah, but I didn't mean. I meant somebody with a big reputation. Somebody with a big reputation.
You did send a shiver down my spine with that.
I know. As I was saying it, I was thinking, how do I pedal this back?
No, Rob. The point I was making
yesterday. Everybody's saying he should have played 3 at the back. We've played 3 at the back very rarely this season, and we've done really, really well. So I don't think you can criticise Nuno for sticking to what's worked. However, and I think this is what we all do agree, there are times in matches when you do need to change. And that was one yesterday where something needed to happen, because that first goal is the one that upset me the most. The fact that he ran 30 yards through the middle of the pitch with nobody closing him down. Thinking of making
that
a
goal
challenge.
we let in against Man U. You remember the goal we let in against Man U, where like Yates is jogging back about 10 yards behind.
Yeah,
against Newcastle this season, same thing.
To me, was a warning sign. It was an alarm. Hang on, we've got that donut again. You know, we've got that hole in the middle of our team again.
Yeah.
That needs sorting. So maybe we need to change some things.
And before I thought he was going to change it there and then, you know, because he sent Murillo out to warm up. So I genuinely thought he's going to make that change now. And I would have praised him for doing that.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with making a change early on in the game. But
the point about the 3 at the back is that one of them can step out and make the challenge, and there's still 2 there. And that worked really well at Brentford. Time and again, someone was stepping out, usually Murillo, but sometimes Milenkovic, get the early challenge in, and then that forces the transition as well. It's not just about stopping their attack. That's where you then turn it into a pass.
And with 3 at the back, it enables you to have more in midfield as well, because the midfield, there's just nobody there. I mean, I was before the game. The 2 changes I said before the game were the obvious ones. Dominguez for Yates and Sosa for... The only reason I was saying Sosa for Jota is because Jota's not a winger, Sosa is. Right? If you're going to have a winger, have a winger.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced Jota's a football player at this stage, mate. I
was the first one to say, hang on, people, you're getting a bit excited. I've not seen
you weren't
that
Simon Jones. You know what? From now on, I'm just going to agree with whatever Simon Jones says. Because he's been right.
Okay, I'm not going to argue about it.
Yeah,
my problem with Jota is he just reminds me of a 5-year-old in a you know what, when I was coaching, because my kid started at 5 but I wasn't coaching. Have you ever watched 5-year-olds play 7-a-side football? They all run to the ball, all of them, and and they just chase it around, and it's just a complete mess. And I think Jota hasn't come out of that phase. He's just literally like, the ball goes here, I'm going to run across here, I'm going to chase it, I'm going to slip over. He just kept slipping over yesterday, man.
It looks great. It looks great when he comes on for the last 10 minutes and he's running about everywhere and you think, oh, look at him go. Yeah, that's when he looks good. Last 10 minutes.
I've heard it said that he's the sort of player you want to use away because he's like a sort of scrappy dude chasing around after the ball. I actually think he's better at home, because I feel like he uses the energy of the crowd. When I've seen Jota play well, it's been at home, late on in the game, using the energy of the crowd, surging forward, right? I don't think he's a good player for an away game like that, because I didn't actually see him get forward, actually. I don't remember an attack that he led. It was all coming from the other side with Elanga.
Yeah, but you can't have players like that, because... Look, we were just discussing before we came on. We're doing so well this season that now we have higher expectations. And if we want to challenge for a European place, we can't have players like that coming on as our backup.
The most important thing, guys, is not to pick out individuals that made mistakes. Collectively, they need to react from this.
It was awful. Everyone was awful.
Yeah, everyone was poor. So there's no we can pick up this player and that player, but they've got to. Not just for players as well, the coaching staff and everything. They need to really recover from this in a positive way, because this could be a massive setback, or it could just be a blip, or an awakening call, like Rob alluded to. But I think it could do us a huge favor, to be honest. I think the fact of the matter is, and this is not what we've talked about enough that we have performed way above expectations, and that includes above expected goals, above the amount that we're supposed to be conceding. All that sort of stuff has played in, and you can call it luck, you can call it tactics, whatever, but we have performed ahead of all our objectives, and we kind of now need to level out. And now, if
do you think that's playing into it? Do you think that's playing into it? Do you think they're saying, well, we're so far ahead of target, we take our foot off the gas a little?
I don't think that's the mentality that Nuno would allow. I don't think that is what's happened. I think yesterday we got caught out. We got caught out by a better team with a better system, with players who are actually bang on form. Kluivert's firing at the moment. He is the most. It's what we were talking about Cunha a couple of months ago. That's Kluivert right now. Everything he's touching turning to goal. And that Django Unchained, man, made his debut against us in that first season.
I hate him. He scored as well. He scored in that game.
But look how they've adapted him. He came in. They bought him as a winger, and he's playing as a striker and scoring hat tricks. And
he could have scored choice striker though. Let's be real here, right?
He could have scored more.
Bournemouth had apparently 7 first teamers injured.
I know you didn't like me saying it, but they had a lot of first teamers out.
Okay, so what's the excuse to lose to that shitty club 5-0?
None.
This is the thing. This is why exactly what Ben said. This needs to be. We're taking this in isolation. Like everyone, there's no Forest fan, I doubt, that's not happy sitting third in the league right now. But we have to look at this in isolation. You add that to the mixer. There's 6-7 players, whatever it is, out. What's the excuse? There is no excuse.
I try to only use stats to back up a point that I've seen with my own eyes, right? And there's one stat that really does worry me, and that is we are by far and away the team that's, and we've not scored a lot of goals, but we are far and away the team that scored the most goals above XG.
Yeah.
So what that means is all these fantastic, amazing goals we've been scoring are not normal. And normally during the season, that will come down to be pretty, pretty level. You'll score the goals you should do.
And the XG yesterday, Bournemouth only had about 1.7.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know what XG the first goal would have been, but that's not an easy goal to score from 25 yards out into the corner.
No. Yeah, XG at half time was under 1. It was under 1. It was like 0.89.
You wouldn't expect. Normally, you wouldn't expect Kluivert to score that goal. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't expect him to do it. But like I said, the form he's on at the moment, the confidence he's got at the moment, he just hit it and it went.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry, but I'll just finish off with this. If we don't continue to perform above our XG, then we could be in trouble.
Yeah.
It only takes one to go on a dip, and that XG is gonna.
Do you want to know what's even worse than the midfield and what the defense did with that Kluivert goal? Do you know, as soon as he scored it, Nick sent me a message saying that's identical to the goal he scored against Newcastle. It was. If you watch it back, in terms of the position where he shot from, he just went and did the same thing. So I know the XG is low on it, but he's been warmed up a week before on the angle and how to hit it.
Well, he's full of confidence. Perhaps 6 months ago, he perhaps wouldn't have even took that shot. He'd have carried on going because he's not got the confidence.
Right.
But at the moment, somebody's put here, XG is not reliable, whatever.
Well,
I do tend to agree with that. As I said, as I did say, I only use stats to back up what I can see with my own eyes.
But let's see.
That's called confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Agenda.
Just before you come in, sorry, it's the second time I've now interrupted you. Apologies, it's not on purpose. We're at 99 likes, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please get it hit now. Well over 300 of you in here. And Forest Hood says, please tell Poppy, Harry, and Teddy to be quiet and eat their dinner. Can't hear you guys over them. Poppy, Harry, Teddy.
Uncle Wolfie, tell him off.
The big man is trying to listen. Some therapy time, right? It is now 6 o'clock. Finish your dinner, go do your homework, and check your rooms are tidy. I feel like I'm talking to my own kids.
Don't listen back to the first 2 minutes of the stream.
And don't talk
What
back
it's
to your
not, what it's not
parents.
told you
either.
is that Pop is the youngest at 28. It's not told you that.
Look, right. Poppy, Harry, and Teddy. If you talk back to your parents, you'll end up looking like him. Yeah. If you disrespect them and don't be quiet, you end up sounding like him. And then I don't know how to cuss the other two down. So do what your dad's
Don't
telling you.
even go there.
Yeah, go to bed, as George says. All right. Sorry, Ez, I interrupted you.
Well, okay, let's just flip the other side of the XG, also on goals conceded. Remember back to the Wolves game, for example. What's his name? Their striker had 2 gilt-edged chances. One was cleared off the line, one was a cracking save. But they were almost 2 goals in XG that they should have scored. So this is on the flip side where we're not, and against Liverpool as well, their XG was over 2 because they scored 1 goal, but their XG was over 2 from the chances that they created, and obviously miraculous saves from Sells. So when you've got players performing out above their stations, like Chris Wood with his strike rate, and with Matt Sells with his saves and our goal line clearances, that's what's skewed the stats. So this is where stats kind of like throw it out. But like Ant said, you got to take the eye test and the stats both into consideration. And either way you look at it, we've performed above and beyond.
We've seen it, haven't we, Ed? We've seen how lucky, you know,
how lucky we've been at times. Yeah.
Can I just pick up on this point? Because I want to start a conspiracy. I'll call it Bournemouth Gate. I think whatever formation you put out yesterday, we were always going to get battered yesterday. Nobody was on form. Sells had lost the plot. The back line, I was watching the highlights. There's no defensive line. There's people up the pitch.
Sells agenda, hasn't he?
There's people up the pitch, people in the box. We completely fell apart yesterday. The players were having a go at each other. The players who are normally consistent, Murillo, Milenkovic, Sells, etc., were some of the worst players on the pitch. I don't think whether we started a 5-back yesterday or whether we started close on the left, whatever it may be. I think yesterday we went out there and something had happened and we got punished for it. And what that is,
you know what, Crypto, I agree with that. But you know why? One of the major, in my opinion, one of the major reasons for that performance yesterday is that Bournemouth, my God, they close down. My God, they get stuck into tackles. My God, they're physical and run about a lot. And we just couldn't match them.
Yeah.
They were getting in first to everything.
But,
we couldn't catch. So I think that is a massive part of why we were so poor yesterday, that they were just crazy. And that was the
only thing that I was hoping would play into our favour, that they would knacker around the hour mark. You know, they wouldn't be able to keep up what they would do. But that's when they blew us off out the park. Blew us off the park, man.
Well, as look, I'm glad you got blown off on the park, but yesterday you can tell they were putting 110% effort in. Because if you look at someone like Murillo, he didn't even.
Let's talk about Murillo.
Well, Bournemouth first sub was 80 minutes, so they weren't tired.
They were working so hard.
No, that's what I was hoping they would be, but they weren't.
Yeah, we looked tired. I mean, Nuno said in his interview,
that's because we were trying to run after him and we couldn't do it.
Do you know what it was? It started with that Liverpool game. We just ran out of steam on 60 minutes, and then we coasted through the Southampton game, and that went right down to the wire. And then sometimes when you're coasting, you need to come to a complete stop. Like we've coasted into a brick wall, and now we have to restart. And it might actually do them a lot of good, because
that's what I'm hoping.
When they go into the next game, they have to think, right, how did we get to third in the table? What are the building blocks? What are the fundamentals, right? And I think that the answer is they need to set up against Brighton with the sole objective of not conceding a goal.
Yes,
right?
West Ham equalised. Sorry, Rob.
Okay, good. Right. So, that's good. Then. That stops Villa catching us. That stops Villa catching us.
Villa were going to be 4 points behind us.
It's the David Cameron derby, isn't it? It's two
brilliant.
Teams. Both his teams,
Yeah.
Wait, he supports 2 teams?
No, because he forgot which one he supported.
It's a political joke.
He knew they were in claret and blue. He knew they were in claret.
What about Burnley?
Don't tell him about Burnley. He'll get even more confused. So, look, I think they've got to rebuild or reboot a little bit and go into the Brighton game thinking the fundamental of our season is we've got to go through this game and we're not going to concede a goal. Right? That needs to be first and foremost in their minds. How they do that, I don't know. Whether they change the formation, whether they change the personnel, but everything that we've done has been built on that. And I think it comes back to what you said about not having a plan B. What the hell do we do when we're 2-0 down? Well, the answer is panic and let more goals in, right? So and if against another opponent at another ground, we might have got away with it yesterday, but Bournemouth, it was just relentless. We were always going to get found out. And the capitulation at the end, I mean, I could have taken 3-0, but 5. And Sells flapping at that one, and the ball going through Milenkovic's legs.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Milenkovic was shocking yesterday.
Is there
They're all bad.
They were all.
Is there an excuse? And I'm not saying I agree with this, but is there an excuse that the players are just absolutely knackered?
Okay, if you're, I'm sorry, you're going to trigger me with that. Okay, Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal playing 3 games a week, and our lovely little darlings have to play 1 game a week, but they're going to get knackered. Sorry, what's going to happen next season if we get Europe? Are we just going to have crutches out there ready to catch them when they can't run anymore?
Is there a suggestion that they might be mentally tired? And I know that sounds ridiculous.
That's possible, Rob.
No, I don't accept that either.
No, because some of the games that we had over the Christmas period, like the Villa game, the Tottenham game, they're all very, very close games, and they required everybody to be at
everybody in that situation. Every club has a mental pressure on them, whether they're at the top, at the bottom, whether in the middle. Even every club has mental pressure on them. You can't.
I think just rotate the players because.
But it's a different type of pressure, Ant. They talk about it, don't they? You know, the clubs that are up there, they say, "Oh, they've not had a title run before. Maybe they'll slip up." They don't.
No, but most people, as that I've heard, say they'd much rather have the pressure at the top than the pressure at the bottom.
But it's a different type of pressure, and you know, like I say,
what is the pressure? What is the pressure? Forest are not expected to win the league.
Having to win every game.
What is the pressure when you're chasing the top 2 places?
No, forget that. I'm saying, what is the pressure? Those players out there should have the least amount of pressure of all other 19 teams. They should.
You know what it is?
Because of where they are.
You know what it is? On my YouTube feed, I am constantly getting videos recommended to me, like why Forest are so good this season, and why Matt Sells is so good this season. And they've had this. It's the spotlight. That's what it was. They
when
really
they go on that pitch, Rob, when they cross that white line.
No, but it's something that we're not used to.
There should be the normal match day pressure that you have. You shouldn't be thinking about, if we drop points here, if we drop points there, we won't be. You shouldn't be thinking about that.
I'll tell you what pressure does. Look at what Man U and Tottenham are doing now.
No amount of pressure excuses
5 minutes. They're under the microscope.
One at a time.
Yeah. So I think that as a club, we're not that used to being under the microscope and having expectations.
I don't think it's that. I don't think
it's not. It's not that.
What is it then?
They're professional football players at the elite level of their sport. They're not bothered about outside pressure from media. Everyone's praising them every week. It's not like they're under like loads of negativity like Spurs. They're under praise every week. I highly doubt they go out there and feel like massively under pressure.
Have you heard the phrase, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen?
But there's no heat on the menu.
The kitchen is the top 4. I want to stay in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I play well then.
Yeah.
My point, that's not what I think the problem is. Problem is touching a little bit on what Rob said. Hey?
All of them on the same day, all had this conscience of pressure. This understanding they've got pressure.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
The signs were there against Liverpool and Southampton. And what did it for me was the fact of both of those games we conceded from a corner, which is something that we had completely expelled from our game. And then you see that happening and you think, hang on, what's happening here?
And you know, these footballers so many bloody excuses.
Thank you.
These are not excuses. It's an explanation.
Don't you think in 1978 the Forest player? Hang on, Rob. Don't you think the players in 1978 that had come up from a second division and were going for the league championship and played 78 games that season? Don't you think they felt pressure?
Yeah, but you know what? They were worse.
They didn't lose to Bournemouth 5-0, mate.
Can I just say,
Trafford at 1-4-0 instead.
Yeah, I think this pressure on the players, that's bullshit. It's not that. But it is touching a little bit on what Rob was saying, right? There's been so many videos out about how Forest are playing, but also about our tactics. Now, I think it was The Athletic that did a very good video on our tactics. And Bournemouth must have watched it because it absolutely did exactly the opposite of what we do. So they knew we only block up to a certain point. Yeah, which players come up? Players don't come necessarily come up running out when we're playing two at the back. They knew our tactics. They played to those tactics. So that's the worry I've got with the highlight that we're getting. That these teams are going to suss us out. And what you said, I don't know. I think it might have been in your review of it today. Have we got a plan B? And right now we haven't. Right now, we haven't. And as I alluded to it against the Liverpool game, I said, if we were 1-0 down, what options did we have off the bench? We've all agreed now that a 1 year is not a game-changing option off the bench. So that is the first place that needs to change. But the wingers, I'm sorry, the backup wingers we've got are not good enough to take us to that next level. We're at that next level now. We've got to sustain it. They would have been great. Sorry, I'm going to fly for screen now. They'd be great if you're sustaining a mid-table push, you know, but we're higher up and want to stay there. So they are not the players to keep us at that level as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying they're bad players. They're squad players, but we need better in this window. And I'm really disappointed that we haven't done anything yet. I'm really peeved off about it.
We've only got about a week left.
Yeah.
Where's Yilmaz? Yilmaz was apparently all reports that he's dying to come to us. Why haven't we got that one?
This is going to be done on the last day because these players that are looking for a move, they've all got 3 or 4 options, and then it's like a kind of domino effect, isn't it? It's like you're waiting for somebody to go to free up the cash for somebody else to go for them, then they can fill that spot, etc. So it'll be very tense little transfer window. But if we sign nobody, then I can actually see us dropping off.
If the thing is, every single point counts. If we miss Europe by a point, I can guarantee you players like Murillo, Morgan Gibbs-White, they'll be gone. They will be out.
I think we have to.
I'm not sure about that. Come on, now, Crypto. If we end up coming 8th, right? If they end up coming 8th, and then we sign a load of great players in the summer, why can't we make a push for Champions League next year? They can see that the club's moving in the right direction.
Let's not get too negative.
I don't agree with that. If we come 8th,
I think they'll go. I think they'll be gone.
No, I don't get
European football.
Can we just touch on Murillo for a second?
Rob, right? You say that, and bless you for saying it. But if we finish 8th outside Europe, and Liverpool, Manchester City, and Real Madrid comes in for Murillo, do you think Murillo's going to say, "Oh no, because we know we're going to bring some new players into this side, and we can do well"?
And firstly, you sold Murillo last summer, and secondly, don't you think they've spent the last week discussing that with him? Don't you think that? Listen, if we don't make top 8, it's probably going to be partly Murillo's fault, right? There might be a lot less interest in him. The point is, they must have had this out with him the last week, right?
Rob, don't be so naive.
No, right.
Let him finish.
Right. Do you not think that Murillo's agent was sat there at the table saying, right, okay, we need to have a discussion about what happens if Forest don't get Champions League, what happens if Forest don't get Europe. So that outcome has probably already been decided, and we don't know what it is yet, right?
Yes, but I have my suspicions.
I would have thought that if I was leading that negotiation on behalf of Forest, I would have been prepared to offer more wages or more length of contract in order to tie him up just in case that does happen. Because the point is, okay, if we come 8th or 9th, there's still a massive upward trajectory for the club. We could do some really exciting. You're treating this very much as if it's a shit or bust, right? If we don't make top 4, we might as well wind up the club, sell off the City ground, and go watch the county. That's a stupid attitude. That is a stupid attitude.
Rob, what I'm saying, no, it's not a stupid attitude, because what I'm saying is that a player of Murillo's quality that has been courted by some of the top teams in Europe who pay a hell of a lot more than we do. So I imagine the negotiations are more likely to go, Murillo, we love you, guy. You love playing here. We're prepared to take your 30 grand a year and take it up to 100 grand a year and give you a 4-year contract. And he'll say, lovely, I love that. But if we don't make Europe next season, I'm off. Yeah, okay, 100. That's great, because we've just secured a high fee for you.
Rob,
no, it's got a release clause. If a player's got
you don't need a release clause. You don't need a release. Release clause is pointless. Why should we hamstring ourselves by putting an £80 million release clause in when by the time the end of the season comes, people
So
might
is
be
he
willing to
tied
offer
to us
100.
or not? Then is he tied to us or not? If you're saying there's
No,
no
he's got
release
no
clause,
players
then he's
tied
tied
to
to
you.
us.
In this
Rob,
day
you
and
sat
age,
here
Rob,
on-
no player is tied to you.
You
None.
sat here on the forum and you
Do you
said,
think Haaland's going to be at Manchester City for another 9.5 years?
yeah, you sat here on
115
the
months.
forum and you said that Murillo's agent will have been the one pushing for that. Well, I can guarantee you, if Real Madrid come in and give him 200 grand, which will give his agent 10% of that, he'll be telling Murillo to fly over to Spain and play for
Yeah,
them.
of course he will. Of course he will. If Real Madrid got in touch with him today,
And
say
what-
we'll
I
pay,
tell you
we'll
what-
pay you 400,000 a year, and you'll be our starting centre
Yeah.
half.
And
And
we're
we'll give
all,
Forest
we're all
125
sat here.
million. Do you think they
all
would? Do you think they're trying to say, "Oh no, oh no"? Be realistic. I love my club, but I
gotta
know
say,
there are clubs out there
Rob,
that
I agree
players
with them.
find more
I
attractive.
agree with them.
So what we're saying is that unless we make Europe or the top four, the whole squad's going to disintegrate.
Not
and
the
we
whole squad, I'm
might-
talking about
Exaggerate.
Murillo.
You didn't say the whole
Hang
squad.
on.
You said Murillo.
Don't you think that all the players and the squad are having exactly the same conversation
No.
we're having now?
No.
That's where the
No.
pressure comes
Do you
from.
think Ryan
That's
Yates
where
is
the
thinking
pressure
about going
comes
to
from.
Real Madrid? Are you
Exactly.
serious?
Ryan Yates is probably off to Pride Park. Look, I tell you
Or
what.
Elanga, or Jota, or Sosa, or even Milenkovic. Milenkovic, what, 27, 28?
Yeah, I'm
He ain't
talking
going Real
about
Madrid.
people like Murillo and Morgan Gibbs White. But the difference
I know,
is,
it's fantastic. It's
we're
not
all
going, no,
sat
actually,
here.
he could do.
We're all sat here grumpy and sad about yesterday. Murillo's posted on Instagram that he's shopping in Paris. They don't give a fuck. They're not
I
Forest
don't give a
fans.
fuck.
They are not Forest fans. Ryan
This is what I've
Yates
tried to
cares.
say to you
Morgan
guys.
Gibbs White cares. The others, they don't give a single fuck about Forest. They give a fuck about the 100 grand a week. They lose 5-0. They fly to Paris, do some nice shopping, and it's us who have to sit here as fans and take all the crap and listen to crap coming out your mouth, Rob.
And on top of that, where were the player interviews? I think Adam brought it up. They're there ready to come out after 7 wins in a row and what have you. Why did none of the players front up? Where's our captain yesterday to front up to apologize for that performance? It's just annoying. It's annoying.
The point. It's a point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why?
we had two players there on brand new contracts, and neither of them came to speak afterwards.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it should have been a week that ended in celebration. Nuno's birthday every day, yesterday, and everything with the 2 contracts, but it was awful yesterday. And I do want to just touch on Murillo. We saw, like I said, their 19-year-old centre back come forward with a ball and find somebody and be an absolute menace. Our one gets a ball and decides to have a shot from 40 yards out. He needs to cut that out of his game. Like we have a go out. Like we have a go out MG Dub for what he does.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what I was about to say. It's becoming his little tick, like Morgan Gibbs White and his pirouette on the edge of the penalty area. It's like you know he's going to do it, and you're just thinking, look,
he's going to do it once, though. He's going to get it right once, isn't he?
Once he's going to get it. He almost got it right at the end of the Southampton game. We didn't even talk about that run because he was there like cursing his luck for about 2 minutes before he got up. But he does it in every single game, and we saw him do it at the last home game and apologise to Nuno straight away. Nuno must have been absolutely booming after yesterday.
Apparently he was fuming about it.
He should be. He absolutely should be. And Murillo needs to cut that out if he wants to go to the next level, if he does want to match his ambitions. But that is something that we've got to cut out of his game. But
it's our fault as well as we gas it up, including us. We go, oh, could you imagine if that one went in and what have you? It's got to the stage now where they haven't gone in. I'm at the stage now with Murillo. If you do that again, you better damn well put it in the back of the net or I want you subbed off.
Yeah, otherwise cancel your contract. Cancel your contract.
You never get away.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry about this, but there is a precedence for this, and that's when Neil Webb took a shot from about 25 yards out.
I'm just about to say,
straight off. Straight off.
Yeah, exactly.
What about when
that game?
But it's our fault as well. This is my point. It's our fault. I'm included. I've gassed it up. Oh man, that one against Spurs last season from 80 yards. It's close to going in. You know, it could be this close or this close. It didn't go in.
I mean, Ant knows you're at the stadium. As soon as he's got the ball, everyone's shouting shoot. So, we're egging him on as well. So it's just as bad. But
suggestion by Malcolm, by the way, which is why not let Murillo take some free kicks, especially on the right-hand side, and just let him
seen him shoot.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, it's like
you say what you're saying, Rob, is he fires the balls miles wide from 30 yards. So why don't we let him take free kicks?
Yeah, but it might be better with a dead ball. And the thing
You know
is,
what, Rob?
might-
You know
might
who
be.
should take the free kicks? Elliot Anderson and the
Yeah.
corners.
James
Well,
Ward-Prowse.
look, I thought Elanga was head and shoulders above everyone else yesterday, Rob. But why the hell is Anderson, who's probably got the best delivery outside of Sosa, I'd say, from
agree.
corners?
I agree.
Why are we persisting with putting wrong players on dead ball situations?
Langer's had some reasonably good
No,
I
ones.
think we
Langer's
need-
done well.
I think we
Yeah,
need
he
a
has done
Rob-
well.
I think we
But
need a
nothing
petition
wrong
from
with
Rob.
variation, is there?
Rob,
It-
we need a petition, mate.
No,
Get
Langer's had
Anderson
some
on
quite good
corners.
ones. He had a few corners that nearly curled straight in. They haven't been
Yeah.
terrible. They're not Gibbs White level.
No,
I
it's been
agree.
excellent. Excellent.
But I would. It does bug me that we've got absolutely nobody who you can imagine scoring a direct free kick, right?
We have got
So
James
you just know they're
Ward-Prowse,
always
mate.
going to chip it. Now, I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I think back to the days of Pierce and Van Hooijdonk when we were scoring 5 to 10
Ian Rowe.
goals.
Ian Rowe.
bro.
Yeah,
Ian
5 to
Rowe.
10 goals per season from
Lewis
direct
McDougan.
free kicks. I just never
Van
get
Hooijdonk
excited.
was
When was
something
our
else,
last
mate.
direct free
Van
kick? Does
Hooijdonk,
anyone actually know?
honestly.
I don't
Last
think
one he
we
scored
scored one
was-
since the Premier era.
Not since we've been.
I think it was
promoted,
Jesse
but-
Lingard, wasn't it?
1992, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you're
deflected
right. It
one.
may have been
The double
Lingard
deflected
in the
one
cup
against Blackburn. That was the cup.
and it was a deflection. Yeah. So my feeling about this is we managed to initially sort the problem of being able to defend corners, and we started scoring from corners. So this is something that they need to add. And I would suggest that if it's in that zone 14 or whatever they call it, outside the box, central, if it's off to the left side, you can say to Anderson, look, have a shot, mate, have a shot. Or if it's on the other side, let Murillo have a shot. And you have that discussion with Murillo and say, look, we'll let you take with 2 or 3 free kicks a game from the right-hand side. You practice them, practice curling them into the top corner, but stop shooting from open play because it's silly, right? Now, that would be one way of handling it, because I feel like we're always just chipping it, looking for Wood or Milenkovic on the back post. Sometimes it works, but it's telegraphed. You need to have 2 people standing over the ball, one who could be about to shoot, another one who could be about to chip, and the opposition shouldn't know what's going to happen until they make contact with the ball.
There's another option, though. A simpler option is you start James Ward-Prowse over Ryan Yates, because James Ward-Prowse is one of the best free kick takers in the Premier League, and he never gets
corner
Scored one for
takers.
about 2
I
years,
was
mate.
saying this a month ago and I was being
never get-
roundly panned.
playing. He's better than Ryan
Not
Yates.
scored one for about 2 years.
But okay,
He
Morgan
hasn't
Yeah.
played in 2 years.
White did an interview the other day, and they
Tells
asked
you
him
something, then, doesn't it?
if you could take one skill from one of your colleagues, what would it be? And he said free kicks from James Ward-Prowse. He's never seen.
No, I agree with
like
that.
it.
I
Yeah,
do.
so-
I
so
agree.
this is a
He's
good
banging
point,
them
right?
in training every day.
So if you set up to
He
play
is.
Brighton and you say we're not going to let a goal in, right? That's your first priority. We're not going to let a goal in. It could be a set piece that wins you that game 1-0, right? And if you basically saying, yeah, we have a Langer on set pieces, it doesn't give me the confidence. Whereas if you start with Ward-Prowse, then you've got
Where are you
that is
playing him, though,
example.
Rob? Where are you playing him?
Well, okay, so you're jumping too far ahead. All I'm saying is there are options in our squad that we have kind of ruled out because he didn't play in the 8 wins. So we thought, okay, we don't need him, send him back to West Ham. But now we need to take a look at what untapped potential have we got in the squad that we could maybe change things up a bit. And I would suggest that is one area that we haven't really made the most of. Here's dead balls.
Before I want to break that down a bit more. Before we do, I want to talk about 2 players.
Why am I
Right.
talking rubbish? Right.
Well, you are
hang on.
talking rubbish. You always
No,
talk
no,
rubbish.
this is like Ant and his pillow
do I.
moment. I want Claude, the cat, to explain why I am talking rubbish. And
It's
London
personal
boys-
now, Claude.
Oh,
what happened?
I don't know.
No idea.
I
It's
don't
a
know.
lie.
Someone got banned, but it wasn't Claude.
Claude's going round to his house.
Oh, okay. Anyway, right. So you Ben. Anyway, I want to talk about 2 players, Ryan Yates and Dominguez. Ryan Yates should have been subbed off as soon as that goal went in, and Dominguez should have been subbed off, even though he'd just been subbed on after that pass. These 2, for me, I'm coming to you on this. Dominguez is your boy. You and Ben can defend him now. I think he
Easy.
works hard.
Very easy.
I think he works hard, but I'm sorry, I don't think either of them are cut out for this right now.
I know. I
This
think that
top
Dominguez
end
is a
fight.
far better player than Ryan Yates in every way, shape, or form. I think he tackles better. I think he heads better. I think he shoots better. I think he passes better. I think he does everything better than Ryan Yates.
His pass yesterday wasn't better. Well, it's just as
No,
bad. I
okay,
guess.
so he made a bad pass.
It cost us the goal.
Murillo, in the last 2 games, Murillo's made about 20 bad passes.
Did they cost us goals?
No,
They could have
that's
done.
the difference.
It's and
Yeah,
Dominguez is
you
one
can't
infuriating.
say that. Oh, so if a player plays a bad pass,
No,
and then the defense
can.
drops to the floor and lets that guy score, it's worse than if a player plays a bad pass.
no. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Ridiculous.
Dominguez's one was worse than Yates's because Dominguez's one was under no duress in the middle of the park, absolutely lazy
Yeah,
to pass it like that.
It was
Yeah.
bad. Maybe
And I was
if
really
he'd been on from the
shocking
start like
yesterday.
he should have done, he'd have been more into the game and wouldn't have made that mistake. Who
And you
knows?
put up that stat already earlier. Ash passing was shocking yesterday.
It
We're
was
trying
shocking.
to be too intricate at times. We're trying to knock it between players' legs and stuff like that. Oh, it was so infuriating. We couldn't string 2 or 3 passes together yesterday. Our transitions were awful. They were all over us, but that was their tactic. We should have been smarter. Anderson had his worst game. MG Dub had his worst game. They were
He
all
was terrible.
They were all bad though. So to pick out one player, it's not fair. You know, they were all awful. They were all off it. And the fact of the matter is, we were outplayed, outfought, and outfought. You know, yesterday.
I said
It
at the
was
beginning there,
Outclassed.
I'm going to give Elanga a pass, but the rest of them are all equally as bad.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
on
blaming
trial, man.
anybody, any singular person for yesterday. It was a
But
collective.
what do you do in that scenario, boys? I think one of you is saying. I think it was Ben. You were
Right.
saying like, even if he started with the back three, the mentality and mode they went into yesterday was so bad. Are we saying wholesale changes for Brighton? Is it going to be this knee jerk or is this riot act red Ben? What are you saying?
I mean,
can we? We can't.
What I would do is I'd be tempted to start a very similar team, although I'd definitely start Sosa ahead of Jota. But I'd be tempted
Is
to
he
start
the answer, Ben? Are you just saying
not,
him?
not the answer. We need another signing. But what are we going to do between now and
No,
Saturday?
Callum Hudson-Odoi will be back.
Well, if Callum Hudson-Odoi is back, then obviously
What is
start
the
him.
latest, please?
I
What
would
is the
try and
latest?
I would try and start as many
Nothing.
players as possible as yesterday, and tell them to go out there and prove a point, because they need to get back into the form that they've been in all season. And don't get me wrong, they've been absolutely fantastic this season. I said a few weeks ago, this is the best football I've ever seen as a Forest fan from Forest. And they need to get back to that. They need to be given a chance. But by God, if they go and do the same thing on Saturday, that's it. I'm done
Oh
with
yeah,
them.
I'm with you on
I
that,
feel
mate.
like Hudson-Odoi was a really big miss yesterday, actually. I mean, you've got to remember that he scored the goal last year when we played there. I think the thing about Hudson-Odoi is he's like a calming influence because the ball sticks to him. You know, if you pass to him and he starts running at the opponents, then that allows people to get forward. And, you know, whether or not the final ball does anything, it just takes the pressure off you. And I felt like, you know, I can't remember Jota making any runs, having any possession. He was just a chaser. You know, I feel like Hudson-Odoi was a big miss. And we were unbalanced.
But Rob,
Yeah, I
are
think
you
that's-
doing the whole missing out because he wasn't there thing? Like, honestly, Callum Hudson-Odoi between the Liverpool game and when he scored against
he's been poor.
Southampton, yeah, he's been like between a 4 and a 6 out of 10 each
And to
week.
be honest,
It's quite a
Ant's already
sketchy player, isn't he?
Ant already said Elanga actually was the only player that was taking
Yeah,
the game.
Elanga was
He
good.
was running at them. You know, there's a couple of times he should have had free kicks of a waiver, but they were dirty as well. But that is their
Yeah, they
tactic. They'll let you get so far and then they will take a yellow card. But they weren't getting the
Definitely,
yellow
yeah.
card. They should have been given it.
At the end of the day, Marinakis has got a decision to make. Nobody, apart from me and Wolfie, nobody expected to be third in the Premier League, right? We've done way better than our expectations, apart from what me and Wolfie said. And now we need to either go gun-ho and bring in some proper players to challenge our current 11, or we need to carry on as we are and potentially end up mid-table. Marinakis has got a choice to make. Does he want to really go for it and make a point, or does he not want to risk it? And we may end up, you know, potentially out of the European spot.
I'd be staggered if Mr. Marinakis didn't provide us with some prezzies before the end.
I'll
of
be
the,
pissed.
Yeah,
if he doesn't.
I think he will.
He's always shown ambition, hasn't he?
Yeah, I
He's
think I'm
always
more
shown
with
ambition.
Wolfie, but I'd
And
actually
if there's a time to bring in quality players, that time is
And
now. I mean,
this would
look,
remind me-
I'll bring a little bit of balance into this, right? Yesterday was absolutely shocking. We all know that 5-0 is unacceptable, but the actual damage done is not as bad as it seems when you've just lost 5-0. I mean, look at today.
Right? Are we
Look at
still
today? Yeah, here we are. Look at today. Aston Villa are drawn at home to West Ham.
Yeah.
They could have caught up 3 points.
Don't jinx it,
only caught
man.
up
There's still
1.
2 minutes left.
Yeah, I know there is. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
And also,
Are you on a delay?
Incidentally, I think Newcastle's home result was worse than ours because they were at home.
Mm.
And they were after 8 wins as well. So
Yeah, I think that was, and look what they did. They were lucky to have Southampton next, I guess, but they went 1-0 down in that. But you know, so if we can keep calm, and if Mr. Marinakis does bring us in a couple of nice prezzies, then we can perhaps go again. Because I think if we keep to what we've got now, we could have a problem.
Can I just say, if we don't do something in this January transfer window, it's going to remind me of that season under Billy. You know, when we didn't secure the left back, we didn't get the Nicky Shorey,
You were
and we were second or third. We were second in the championship at the time, or something like that. Anyway, and we didn't end up getting automatic promotion that year.
God,
But
season
it won't be for one to try in, right? But it is worrying. That we haven't done anything yet, but same again, like the guy said, I think Rob said it. It's January, and there has to be that domino effect usually for players to come in and players to come out.
But I ain't getting good vibes that it's gonna happen.
No, well, I know, and I'm not getting good vibes because you're not giving me good vibes, right? Can't you just lie, bro?
Don't lie. Don't get me hopes up. Don't lie.
I'm just saying, Cunha is out of the question, right? As much as I've begged them for it, it ain't happening, right? They're not even interested. On Jimenez, this is the one that's bugging me a little. Jimenez can leave for 35 million euros. That's the asking price there. I'll tell you what, I've been watching him a lot this season.
Yeah, pay it.
He's better than Eddie Nketiah, and I can tell you that much. And secondly, he would fit Nuno's system to a T, and the man can score goals. I don't understand why we're letting him go, huh?
Sorry, I was going to after. There's 2 players I want. That's Jimenez and Yilmaz.
Yeah,
Yilmaz.
I was going to say
Yilmaz is a beast.
I love Yilmaz.
A beast.
So
That one's still there, but there's talks it won't be till the summer. And look, for me, Marinakis only ever made one mistake since we were in Premier League, and that's not sacking Cooper early enough.
I knew that was
Lingard. No, that was
John Joe Shelby.
2-1.
No.
What?
West Ham.
You're joking.
2-1.
This had better be accurate.
It might be offside. They're celebrating. I don't know if it's offside or not.
Wow, it's like 10 minutes into injury time of 7 minutes of injury time.
Well, 97 minutes I've got on here.
Yeah. Oh, he's offside by a country mile. Oh no, he is. He's offside.
The thing is,
okay. It's okay. One losing 5-0, only losing 1 point. It's okay.
I agree with that. And as I said on the video today, we're not going to win the goal difference race against the teams around us, yeah? So getting tonked once is okay. It's if it becomes a pattern, yeah? And my question to you boys, as I'll kick this one over to you, is finished for 1-1 full time. Do you think there's any pressure for Nuno in this Brighton game? And chat, I'd like your thoughts on it. And by the way, get those likes up. 155. Come on. Is there any pressure under Nuno in this Brighton game to go more attacking? Or do you think he will dig his heels in to be even better defensively because we've leaked 7 without reply?
I think it shouldn't change anything from what he would normally do. We can't be reactionary in that sense. You know, we have to respond, but not to be reactionary. He shouldn't be changing what's got us here in the first place. So I wouldn't be looking to. And the Forest fans have been really educated this season. I mentioned it earlier before. Last season, you get to half-time 0-0. And, you know, there's restlessness. Nowadays, you know, we know what the game plan is. We know it's going to be slow, but we know once we get that first goal, we can usually solidify it. So I wouldn't change anything from that point of view. It was a bad day at the office, and that's how I'm treating it. I'm not seeing us totally falling off from this now, but I'm seeing actually, I think it was a good thing for it to happen. It's leveled us out. It's a slap in the face. it's an awakening, and we just respond from it. I don't even want the Forest fan base to start thinking, "Oh, what if we don't get to Europe?" No, it's one game. Come on, guys, it's one game. Yes, it was an awful game, and everything that could have gone wrong almost did go wrong in that game. You know, if we'd had a couple of red cards, that would have just topped it off. But they could have scored more goals as well. So let's not slag our players off too much without realizing how good they were yesterday. And we've got to give them some.
But to be fair, as it wasn't just one game, was it? Because the game before, in the second half, it was exactly the same performance.
But that was what people were saying was complacency. But like I said, it was just that we never got out of second gear in that game, when we never needed to in the first half, and we got 3-0 up. And then when they do turn it up, we can't match it. We can't match their tempo. So that's what happened in that game. But it could potentially.
Oh, he's frozen.
Can I just address then, while Says is getting back, can I just address one of those comments? This is not to get onto you, but somebody just put, we won't get Jimenez, Milan want him. I fully understand why people would think that, because Milan are a world-renowned massive club. However, Forest could probably offer him more wages. They can offer him European, hopefully, the promise of European football next year, Champions League, maybe. But more importantly, it's an introduction into the Premier League, which is where everybody wants to play. So I understand why you would say, well, if Milan were it, forget it. But players aren't always like that. Milan are not what they used to be.
Sixth in the table as well, Milan.
Yeah, the sixth in the table. Yeah,
quite
sorry,
far off the pace.
That's why I mentioned those games. We're more likely to get Europe than they are. Or
Milan are poor, man.
Yeah, I know, but we're looking at it through yesterday's. I mean, I was thinking yesterday, my God, if any of the players we're after are watching this, they won't want to come anywhere near us, you know. But you've got to rely on the manager and the owner and everything to say, look, this is what we're aiming for. This is what we want to do. This is our ambition. And don't underestimate the power of coming to the Premier League as well. So I can understand why you would say that. So I'm not ridiculing it, but don't just write it off. I remember everybody saying about, I know it hasn't worked out yet, but about Sangari, I had loads of ridicule on Twitter. So he'll never come to Forest. What would he go there for? Arsenal want him. Man U want him. He came to Forest in the end. So
my only worry on that is that
can Milan afford him? Can Milan afford him?
My only worry is that he goes to a stepping stone club like Spurs or Man United before he comes to us.
Right, I need to catch up on these super chats. Badger with the 28-month, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. That's well over 2 years. That's crazy, man. Thank you so much. And Mark with the 25 dirham says, disappointed Nuno didn't see that coming and was unable to make effective changes. Obsession with Europe will be counterproductive, in my opinion. We gotta be obsessed with it though, man. It's the next step. I hear what you're saying, man.
It might not happen again. It might this set of circumstances. I think Crypto said a few times, stars aligning. It might not align like this again. You know, we got.
You're right there, Ez. But on the other hand, we might be better next year, and other clubs could still be falling off and not coming back. Man U aren't coming back anytime soon. I can't see Tottenham coming back anytime soon. So,
well, they might be going to the Championship, mate. So,
yeah, exactly. So, you know, we do tend to, and I understand why, because we've been so long in the wilderness. But I remember when Arsenal were challenging City for the title a couple of seasons ago, people saying they've got to win it this year. If they don't win it this year, all them other teams will come back. And they haven't all come back.
And they still haven't won it.
They still haven't won it.
City have gone down. Yeah. So
just my last 2 pennies worth on Jimenez before we move on. Of all the players we're linked with, he's the one who fits our system the best. And he would just slot straight in. And if he's in form and he's coming in and
if he doesn't want him, though, Ez.
No, I didn't want Nketiah.
No, you didn't want him. Jimenez turned us down. You said
yes. Because who did I want? Who did I want? I wanted Marmoush. Yeah. Marmoush. And then the whole going from Bundesliga to Premier. Look how he played yesterday for Man City. Look how he played.
I didn't see that at all.
He was on fire, man. He even scored, but it's disallowed for offside. But yeah,
he was good yesterday. You could see it.
That was more depressing than the 5-0, man. Knowing that we could have had that.
Even I was getting upset, and I didn't even know, much about him. But even watching him,
when you know, man. When you know. Sharky with the 29 months as well. What an absolute legend, and what a lovely guy he is as well. Thank you so much, Sharky. Okay, I just want to address. Let's finish with this. Just looking ahead to the Bournemouth, screw boring mouth. The Brighton game. Vic saying Sangare and Danilo ASAP. Now, they are both fully back in training. My gut feeling says Nuno wants to hold off till the Exeter match before he pairs them up in the midfield.
When's the next international break? Still a while away, isn't it?
Oh, it's like March, isn't it, or something?
Mm.
Danilo's fit. If he's fit, play him.
Yeah, Danilo. Is
Well,
one
that's my question. When have we got Exeter? I'm just trying to quickly look. Does anyone know off the top of their head? It is
weekend
11th of Feb. 11th of Feb. So it's after the Brighton match. Our
wrong.
next game is Exeter. That feels like a big gap there. But anyway.
Well, you've got midweek. That's a midweek game. That's why it's
Tuesday.
a Tuesday. Yeah.
Wait, so we're not playing. So we're playing Saturday, and
Nothing
then
on
not
the Saturday. Nothing on the Saturday. I don't know why. It's 8 p.m.
I reckon that's when he's taking them to Dubai. From that thing I heard.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
there's a
need that.
gap there.
Just
There's a
change the
10-day
scene.
gap.
Oh, it'll do him good. No, it'll do. Look what happened to the
well,
Arsenal
yeah,
when they
Arsenal
went.
done that.
It'll do him good.
But would you guys risk either of them in this Brighton match?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I
Really?
think the one weakness, if you look at our team sheet, right, our starting 11, we're all in agreement we need a backup winger, backup striker, etc., etc. But I think we've still got one weakness on our starting 11, and that is the number 6. And that is not having a go at Ryan Yates, because Ryan Yates isn't even a 6. That's not even his job role. Ryan Yates is brilliant when he comes on 2-0 up to annoy the other team. We need a solid CDM. Sangare, I hope, can provide that for us. And it will change everything. It will stop the pressure on our defensive line, which will be absolutely massive. It'll allow him to play passes up things through the middle.
You're right.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, but I'm just explaining it.
I didn't know you were explaining it.
a good six will not just change the defense; it will change the attack. It will start the attack. It will help the defense. It is one of the most core positions, and we've done as well as we have to get here, basically without a 6 nearly all season, right?
Yeah.
So for us to do that is actually really good. If we get a 6 in here, it's going to strengthen us for sure, and then we'll definitely get a European place. But my God, Sangare needs to step up when he's on that pitch, and if not,
going back to the question, yes, I would risk one of them in at Brighton. I think Brighton game's obviously much more important than the Exeter game, and they've got a big enough gap between games that they're not going to be playing, back-to-back games. So I would bring Danilo in definitely.
Danilo definitely, because we've seen him already.
He had 5 minutes against who was it?
Yeah, but he looked sharp.
Luton.
Sharp in those 5 minutes.
He actually looked good. He looked really good.
Yeah, but I don't know what's going on with Danilo, because he had 5 minutes against Plucky Luton.
He had a relapse. Nuno said
on the
everyone's
bench.
Firing. He's not said he's had to
All right, so this Brighton game, and I'm going, and I think we all need to get behind the team, because the crowd.
Wolfie's going, are you? Wolfie?
Sorry?
Yeah, I don't really. The chat are going to kill me, but yeah, I'm going Brighton.
That's why I've not said anything. I didn't know when you wanted to reveal.
Is Crypto doing the watch along? Is this a real thing?
No, we're just not going to do a watch along. But
we'll be meeting Matt, Esty, and Sophie as well.
What I'd say about the Brighton
and also
game,
Matt from Forest all over is there, so we're going to catch up with him. But if Forest lose to Brighton, no one can blame me. Go on.
I think there's an opportunity, if Hudson-Odoi is injured, to have Anderson out on the left, right? And then that creates a spot in the midfield. Now, I would suggest there's 2 possible game plans for Brighton. If they're going to play the 4-2-3-1, that needs to have Sangare in it, right? I think we've seen that. If he can come on and just do 45 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever, then we get our nose in front, and then we go to the 3-4-3. Now, if Sangare is judged not to be fit and ready to play that game, we should start with the 3-4-3. And then, like I say, one of the central defenders, because you're going to have João Pedro and Mitoma running at you. Yeah. You have to be able to do something about these runs from midfield. So either you need a 6 or you need 3 centre backs with 1 stepping out. Right. So I'm happy with either. So you either play the 4-2-3-1, get Sangare in. You've got the opportunity to put Anderson out on the left, because I think Anderson on the left is probably, for me, going to be better than Sosa or Jota, and then Elanga on the right. I think, we played him there a couple of times at the start of the season. I think Anderson's going to be good in whatever position you put him. So that's one option. And there's potentially 30 minutes in that game for Danilo as a sub. Absolutely. I got to remember that didn't Danilo score 2 goals against Brighton once upon a time, or am I imagining that?
He scored that beauty on the edge of the box with Foamgate, yeah.
But it comes back to what I was saying about 45 minutes ago. Yes, we need to make new signings, but we need to look at what sort of untapped potential is there within our squad, whether it's potentially giving Moreno a game and resting one of Aina or Williams, both of who had a stinker yesterday, maybe trying to find room for Ward-Prowse in there to make something out of his dead balls, or, you know, Danilo or Sangare, but you've got to basically find some untapped potential for the next game rather than beating the same dead horse.
The only thing I'd say,
No,
like,
are you saying wholesale changes, Rob? Sorry. Are you saying wholesale?
I think you should be looking at making. So, as I would say, approaching the Brighton game, the main concern needs to be we must stop conceding goals, right? We have to set up for a clean sheet in that game. Now, it's either going to be the 4-2-3-1 with Sangare as a 6 or the 3-4-3 starting with Morato. And I do think that on principle, you should be looking to make 2 or 3 changes, not wholesale tinkering Steve Cooper style where you change the entire team from one game to the next. But what I'm saying is that, Nuno himself says that everybody in the squad plays a part, even the people that just come on for 5 minutes at the end, even the people that are waiting for weeks on end. I'm not suggesting that someone like Toffolo or Eric De Silva is going to get a game, but what I'm saying is that if that's really the case, where people in the squad just say, oh, you know, I'm still part of it, even if I'm not on the pitch, I'll do what I need to when I'm called upon. Well, then that needs to be time to bring them in then, you know, because I
agree with what you're saying on Anderson. I quite like that idea. I think you're dreaming if you think you're going to see Sangare in the starting 11.
Yeah, okay, well then start with the 3-4-3. And I do think that I don't know why Aina and Williams were switched over yesterday.
Rob,
that was stupidity. I'm sorry, that was stupidity.
Rob, why are we starting with the 3-4-3 when that's not our normal formation? Why are you changing it just because we lost?
Because we conceded 7 goals to 0 replies.
I will answer that. It's because I'm concerned.
We've already said we don't think that would have made a difference. So.
Right,
it's the midfield. It's the midfield I worry about, not the defense.
Right, can I answer? Is that a real question? Right. So, as I've said, we've had a problem dealing with tricky ball players running at us from the midfield, cutting us open, or shooting from distance. Right. Yesterday it was Kluivert. Next week it'll be João Pedro or Mitoma. Last week it was the Southampton players.
They couldn't score against Everton at home
because we don't have a 6. We don't have a way to contain those runs, and you've got that donut. You've got the defense backing off as they were yesterday. So, like I say, with the 3-4-3, the way that really worked well at Brentford was that you can have 2 defenders drop back, and then one can step out and make the challenge. So you're not inviting the long shot. You're not inviting the defense splitting pass. And but
your midfield should be cutting that down anyway, Rob. I have no objection with whichever formation we play. I don't mind, because I've said to you before, I'm not obsessed with formations. I'm bothered about tactics and players. For me, they're the ones that make the difference, not necessarily formations, right?
Formation and tactics is the same thing.
No. It's very, very different. You could play a 3 at the back, which could be very defensive, i.e. 5, or you could play 3 at the back that's very offensive, i.e. wing backs flying forward. No. Tactics are not the same as formations. No.
Okay.
I just wanted to address something that I've seen quite a lot of, and I understand why people are saying
you can put comments up, so like.
Yeah, I know, but it was about 10 minutes ago before Rob.
Honestly, I might as well give that power to Rob, man. You'd never do it. It's like, who you find this?
All right.
Give me the power.
You're making me forget what I was going to fucking say now.
You were going to address a comment.
Oh, yes. And I understand why people are saying it. A lot of people are saying keep Danilo for Exeter, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't kind of agree with that. There's only about four days in between the games, right? So I would rather.
It's over a week.
10 days.
Okay. If he's not fit enough, then fine. But if he's fit enough to play, I would rather play him in the Brighton match. 11 days.
Yeah.
10
yeah,
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
a good
Tuesday.
game.
Yeah.
We're the last game of that FA Cup weekend,
So
basically.
I'm reliably informed by our well-informed chat that's because the Carabao Cup is on that weekend.
Okay.
Ah,
we would have
yeah.
played one of them lot. Okay. Yeah, I would rather Danilo play in a Premier League match against Brighton. Now, maybe I'm stereotyping. Is that the right word? Stereotyping.
It'll do.
The level of football that Exeter play at. But generally speaking, they tend to be a bit slower in the tackle, so they often mistime their challenges on ankles. And I don't want some clogger Exeter City player being slow and clogging Danilo's ankle. So I would rather him play in a higher quality match. Just saying.
Okay, but I'm gonna be the nasty guy here. Is Danilo actually that good?
Yes.
Whoa.
It's better
I'm
than
just
that.
asking the
Great.
question.
He's a
Yes,
fantastic
he is.
player. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And we've missed
Fantastic.
Okay, so tell me then, Ez, how you fit Danilo in what's our strongest 11 is what I'm asking you, assuming all is fit. Forget the back four. Let's go from midfield upwards.
Well, I think it's what Nuno thought it was when he started the season, with Sangare and Danilo in those two positions.
So you're dropping Anderson.
Yeah, I'm playing Anderson actually on the right because I think he can cut in as well anyway.
You're dropping
I'm
Elanga.
playing Anderson on the right and I'm dropping Elanga effectively, and I'm putting
Elanga could play. Actually, Elanga's not. I think he's. You said Elanga's better on the left, didn't you? I
I'm
think he's
playing
better on the
Callum
right.
Hudson-Odoi on the left, which is his best position. I think he's better than Elanga on the left. And then that's a switch. So if Anderson has to be in that team for me, he's ahead of if you're gonna squeeze him in, which you are doing in that situation, he comes in ahead of Elanga on the right hand side, but he can drift in anyway.
And as we always say, don't we? It's a squad game. Because somebody's not starting, it doesn't mean they're not finishing.
I don't care. I don't care about that crap. I want to know what your strongest starting 11 is. I'm asking you all. Go on, Ant. You're next.
What, from the midfield onwards? Yeah, right now.
Did you get into your strongest 11 first?
Or assuming that Sangare and Danilo are fully fit.
All fit.
Yeah.
All fit. What's the strongest 11? And chat, same question to you. I'm getting off this slightly.
To go with. There's a few ways I'd be happy to go, but I wouldn't object to Sangare.
I want the strongest.
Danilo.
I don't want a few ways. I want the way.
Well, I don't know.
You kind of
because they've not
flip the
played
question
together
a
yet.
little bit on me.
I
But
don't
go on.
know. Until they play together on a regular basis, it's hard to say. But
in your mind, what
Sangare,
is
Danilo, NGW.
and the wingers?
Anderson on the left and Elanga on the right.
You dropping Chow?
Dropping Callum Hudson-Odoi to bring Danilo in.
Absolutely. He's a better player than Cho will ever be.
We've missed him in a way we don't really.
Absolutely.
Can I answer?
The effect that Danilo can have on a match, coming from midfield, spraying the ball about, scoring goals, getting challenges in, compared with a winger that's sketchy at best. And he is sketchy. He doesn't have a good game every game. He's sketchy.
So much revision on this.
In fact, he doesn't even have you can't even rely on him with one game to be great. He'll have little spells within the game.
As Wolfie's camera overheated, it's just a
it has. Yeah.
Right. The best lineup I've seen is exactly what we had at Brentford. Right. I don't know why we haven't played that more often. So that's like the 3-4-2-1, M and M at the back, Aina on the right, Williams on the left, Gibbs, White, and Anderson in the middle, Elanga and Hudson-Odoi behind Wood. That is my favourite team.
Wait. Slow down. I just want the midfield, Rob. Give me the midfield.
I want to know whether I need to shout up or shut up.
Both.
Okay.
No, I think you meant shout up.
So, sorry, what was the question, Wolverine?
I want to know your midfield. Just go across.
In that, it's basically just Gibbs, White, and Anderson in the middle.
So you're not bringing Danilo or Sangare in yet. You just screamed about having a 6.
Right. So not for the Brighton game. No.
No, that's more than a question.
I'm talking about the Brighton game, Rob. I'm talking what
that's
is
why he
the
doesn't shout
strongest
up. He's not
11 we
listening.
have.
Right, so okay, I think it's very difficult to say that two players that haven't kicked a ball in 5 months are in your strongest team.
No.
Insufficient evidence.
I didn't let Anne off. I want to know.
The strongest team, my strongest team for this season whether it's next game or whatever, is exactly what we played at Brentford.
So you're saying fully fit, fully informed.
Yeah,
Your middle
that's
two
what I would
is
pick.
MG
If I
Dub.
could pick anybody,
Okay.
that's what I would pick.
All right. Go on then, Ben.
So much for having a 6 then.
The strongest team, and this
I
is
like
not
Murillo more.
Shut up a minute, man. The strongest team, and this is not my opinion. This is fact.
Oh, here we go. You know your facts.
The strongest midfield is Sangare, Anderson, and Morgan Gibbs-White.
I like that.
So you're dropping
I like
Anderson. Wait,
Huh?
sorry, you're
No,
dropping
he's not
Danilo.
Anderson. He's dropping Danilo. Yeah.
I'm not dropping
Danilo.
Danilo because he's not even in the team.
So he's not rating
Now
Danilo. He's
you're
got a
just,
Danilo
like,
agenda.
pedantic.
Here's another suggestion. Could Danilo deputise for Hudson-Odoi on that left side?
No.
No,
Why not?
Yeah,
you
you could-
No, because
you
he's
could put him
definitely
in
not
goal,
that
it'd
kind
be
of
brilliant.
player.
Well, okay, but how often does Hudson-Odoi go on the outside anyway? I mean, Danilo could be like some
By the
inside
way-
forward on the-
Yeah, but
By
Danilo's
the
not
way,
wing.
By the way, we did buy Danilo as a 6, so you could have Danilo, Anderson,
He's
and
not a
MGW.
He's an
No,
8.
No, he is
No,
a 6, mate. He is a 6. He
He's
was
not a
playing
6.
as a 6, and he was bought as a 6.
He's not
Well,
a
he's
six.
not
So
very
he
good.
can. He's not really been given the chance. I mean, I wouldn't have him as a 6. I think he's too tight. I think he's too restricted to be in a 6. He needs to be up and down that
What are you
pitch.
saying?
But I'm sure that in a, I'd rather have him than Yates as a 6.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
agree with you.
he-
He's a better 6 than Dominguez and Yates. I
He probably
agree.
can get away with
That's what
being
I'm
a
saying.
6.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
but-
I would prefer him to be in that position. I'm saying that we can have him as a 6
I'm also saying that he's
if you want to
probably
get Anderson and MGW in.
Danilo
Yeah.
can probably be a 6 in the Brazilian league, but he's not a 6 in the Premier League. He's just not.
Oh, he
Big
is, mate.
Rob's
He is. He's
up.
definitely a 6 in the Premier League. Definitely.
Big
But we
Rob's
can
pop
disagree.
cherry
We'll agree to
with
disagree.
the £2
Yeah.
says, "Can our reserves play you every week? Can you let me know when you're in the top 6, let alone the top 4?"
Exactly.
Enjoy
Probably
that.
like 2
Listen,
years' time.
mate. Your guys were brilliant yesterday. Okay, we're
Yeah.
moving on now. We're third in the table. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
and,
gonna
and,
buy
and
cars.
also next time, save your £2 towards a new roof there as well, mate. But thank you for the donation.
Ooh, shots fired. Shots
Yeah.
fired.
Shots fired. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. I don't know anymore what's
He
allowed.
didn't find that
No,
very.
it
They're
might be
having,
victim blaming or
they're not
victim
just
blaming.
having the roof repaired. They're having a whole brand new stadium, massive upgrade.
Correct. A whole whopping 20K capacity, which they
Oh,
can't
yeah.
fill.
They know
Yeah.
they're going places. They know they're going places.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of these ones, and then we'll wrap up. Einar, Murillo, Milenkovic. Who the hell's Will? Oh, Williams.
Williams,
I think it is Will, man. Sangare, Elanga, Morgan Gibbs. Is that feels like
Yeah,
more than
fuck.
11 players, Chris?
No
1, 2, 3,
goalkeeper.
We don't need
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, he's done it right. He's done it
Yeah,
right.
it's
Fair
It's
enough.
right, it's right, yeah.
That's
right,
basically
yeah.
right
We got
well done,
goalkeeper
Chris.
in.
formation. It's just
Yeah.
a formation.
I normally put
Da-
too many in.
David's saying that Rob would fit into our donut midfield because he's saying Danilo is never a winger, Rob, you donut. By the way, is that the American spelling or the English spelling?
That's
That's the correct spelling,
D-O-N-U-T.
yeah, the English spelling.
That's the English spelling.
Is
D-O-N-U-T.
there no
English
GH
spelling
is
you
the
don't
American,
know.
yeah?
No,
Huh?
yeah.
No,
O-U-G-H
DONUT is the
ours.
American way.
Yeah, okay, I was just checking. All right, sorry, I was just checking.
No, O-U-G-H is our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam,
Yeah,
but don't say it out loud, mate. They might get offended. They're very sensitive, these Bournemouth fans. Oh, sorry, boring mouth fans. Expression having a proper post-match meltdown. I need to watch that. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah,
And I want to go and watch Fulham, even though I know I should be backing them over Manchester United, but I ain't gonna because I hate Man U. I'm gonna back them.
Yeah, I'm backing
All right.
Fulham.
I
I'm backing
hope-
Fulham.
By the way,
I'm
guys,
going for a draw. That'll do.
Yeah,
Nah,
draw.
nah.
Yeah.
nah,
A bad draw.
nah. I can say what I want. I know when I sit there, I will applaud any goal they score against that scum.
Yeah, I know.
By the
I
way,
will
guys,
as well.
we're 7 likes away from 200. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do. What we got coming up this week? Have we got some stuff
Brighton.
going on?
Oh, transfer
There might be
deadline.
some transfer news. I don't know.
We got
Transfer
transfer
deadline's
news, We
a
better
week
do.
on Monday. A week on Monday.
Yeah, apologies. We had to run early today. There's all kinds of football going on, so we tried to squeeze it in between all of that. All right, guys. So we'll be back
Your
tomorrow.
alerts on, guys. You keep your notifications.
Get your
on.
alerts on. It's important you have your alerts on. And if they're not working, turn them off and turn them back on. Apparently that fixes it as
Yeah.
well. You didn't read my formation, bro. I can't read them all, man. There was loads in the chat, Andy, and Ant will read it because you love Ant, don't you? And also, Andy wants to know, should Rob get his own emoji in the chat? What do you lot think? Is Rob earned an emoji yet? What do you think,
What would
Rob?
it look like?
Find one. I think there's an Adolf Hitler one you can get instead.
Or David Mitchell, I was
Yeah,
going
just
to
remove
say.
the moustache. Yeah. Fair enough.
Right, we
Mitchell,
mentioned
yeah.
Hitler. End the stream. End
Yeah.
the stream, please.
Yeah,
You
on
can-
that
you can-
note-
you can-
Lord,
Andy,
yeah.
I'm looking for your formation now, mate. I can't find it.
Yeah, I didn't even see it, mate. On that note, we'll see you
Oh,
tomorrow. I
diamond
think
shape.
it'll be a
Diamond
transfer.
shape.
Shut up! I'm doing a round out. An outro,
Sorry,
whatever
the
it's
6.
called.
Danilo Anderson sitting in front of him, and then the usual fit at the top end. Sorry,
You
You
wishes
see,
you hadn't read it out
Andy,
now.
Andy, he's just jealous that you like Rob more than him. That's why he's that's oh,
he?
and it's
Well,
the
he can get
first
off the
time
screen
Ant's
then.
pressed the button, mate. Wow, bloody hell.
He's popped
Anyway,
his cherry now.
All right, I'm out. Bye.
You're Eds.